I did sprinkle radish seeds up in there in those raised kitchen garden beds around the base of my I have one remaining yellow squash plant, and next year that's what I'm going to do. So as soon as I plant zucchini or squash of any kind, I'm going to sprinkle radish seeds all around the base of them, because the squash vine borers will lay their eggs into in the ground around those vines, anything that's squash vines. So that's pumpkins, that's gourds, that's butternut, anything like that. They will lay their eggs around the base, and when those little eggs hatch, that's when the grub goes to look for the vine, and then they go right into the vine and they get the water source and they start eating like the flesh and stuff inside. So to prevent that, I'm going to try growing the radishes around them, because I have heard a lot of good news about that. Now the squash bugs are a different story, and I just have to deal with them by removing the eggs as I find them. Just keep scraping the eggs off as I find them and squishing the adults as I find them so they don't mate and then lay eggs. And that will be fine. But it was squash vine borers that took out my butternut squash at the end of the season. And because I can see. And they did take out some pumpkins. I had planted Jack Be Little pumpkins, the little tiny orange ones. And when I pulled that vine from the raised kitchen garden beds, I did see the squash vine borer in there in the vine. So I know they took those out. And they took out the butternut, and they took out the pie pumpkins. I could tell that's what that took those out too. So again, any pumpkins or gourds that I plant next year in the spring, I will be putting the radish seeds around, because I've heard that is a really good deterrent for that squash vine borer. The other thing I can do is allow some of the vine to be, instead of just instantly putting it up on the trellis, I'm going to let some of the vine grow along the ground, like loop along the ground, and I will bury them with soil. So they will come up, the vines will come up from the soil, and then they'll like lay along the soil, and I will bury certain parts of the vines as well, so the roots will get to that as well. So if the squash vine borers come up from where the vine first comes up for the soil and tries to attack it, the plant will still be able to get water from what I've laid on the ground and buried as well. So it'll have multiple sources for water, and still, still be, and that's the whole thing, is that once those squash vine borers get into the plants, they into the vines, that's what they block up, is the water. So